Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be hailing from. This is our wrap-up session for RHEL at Red Hat Summit. That gets harder
Where are
every
we
time.
again? We're at Summit, right? Yeah.
What are we doing?
What day is it?
Oh my gosh, that is where we're at right now.
Summit, day 23.
Oh gosh, thank you all for joining us for these sessions. It's been great to interact with you all. Great, love all the comments, love all the interaction. We hope that these streams have brought a little bit of Red Hat Summit to wherever you're at. Really appreciate you joining us. Now we can see the chat. You can tell we're professionals and we do this often.
Yeah, only 3 minutes late today.
Right. So thank you for joining us. I see a few of you out there. Really appreciate it. So today, huge announcements at the keynote.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the beginning, the crux of it is we've decided to take some of the features that you're used to seeing in Red Hat Satellite and expand the Red Hat Insights hybrid cloud console to include some of these things, to be able to cover some of the workloads that you're used to doing on-prem. You can now use our managed services to manage.
Yep.
That
Now
was
this
great English.
Yeah, now this doesn't mean satellite's going anywhere. It just
No.
means that now you've got some more options. And for customers who maybe don't need a full satellite to do what they're doing, they have some options on the hybrid cloud console.
Right, exactly. So stay tuned. I know that Scott, Nate, Matthew, our entire team is working really hard to produce additional content. Maybe a week or two. I think some of us would like to sleep for about 37 and a
Content,
half hours.
we create content. Is that what we do again?
I don't know. It's been 23
I
days.
thought we handed out coasters. Isn't that our job?
Red Hat technical marketing managers, not just swag people. I actually wrote a blog about that. But yeah, I think that was kind of the main big announcement today. I mean, if that wasn't enough, you can always go back and check out the keynotes that's on the Red Hat YouTube channel. There's definitely a lot to see. Amazing live demo pulled off by our own Rich Dorito and Scott
Yep.
Harold. They did a beautiful demo. Nothing crashed. Keynote
Nothing
demos,
crashed.
everything worked.
Nothing crashed. Although I heard that on the live stream for the keynote, you actually couldn't see when they were speaking. Like the camera on them was just black. So you basically just had the demo, and whenever they were talking, it was a black screen. So I think maybe Rich wasn't actually present. It was all just a recording.
For all we know, it was AI generated.
It's a big conspiracy.
I believe it.
Rich Dorito doesn't really exist. He's AI.
Considering all the spaces and all the places that I see him, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's a robot.
So, hey, Jay Star out in the chat, we see you. Thank you for joining us. Really excited to connect with you. If you have any questions about Summit, now would be a great time. Throw those in chat. We've got producer Scott over here. But there's probably another Scott that we should address. And that would be the evil manager Scott.
Right.
That made an appearance today. You want to talk about
the
troubleshooting challenge?
So today's troubleshooting challenge, we had 2 challenges. I don't know. I think we had one person finish?
I know of one for sure.
Like actually finish the whole lab,
Yep.
or just the first challenge?
Nope.
Okay.
The whole thing.
So fans of Into the Terminal might know that sudo is hard. Sudo is very hard. And yes, the evil...
I feel attacked. Scott, do you feel attacked?
I shouldn't say evil. He's not... Scott's not evil. He's just overconfident.
The misunderstood villain in the story?
So the premise of today's lab was that you were out on vacation for a day. Some issues occurred. Scott had to try to solve them. And, you know, he solved them because he totally knows what he's doing. He used to be a sysadmin, you know.
He used to have our job, so he knows what he's doing, and we should trust him.
So the first thing he did was he fixed sudo access for your web team by putting in a sudo drop-in file. But, you know, those web team guys, they must be doing something wrong because it didn't work for them. So your job was to go back and fix what the drop-in file that Scott had put in place. So the solution for that, which very few people got, because sudo syntax is a pain in the butt. Like it really is. So the solution is, at least the way I solved it and the way you could have solved it, was I made a command alias called web services. And then if you look in the chat, I just threw, well, Eric just threw the actual sudo command, right, or rule is the word I'm looking for, that would take that command alias and apply it to the web team user, right? And the idea is that the web team user is supposed to be able to start, stop, enable, disable, whatever, just the HTTPD daemon, right, without using a password. So the command alias was basically like a big lump of commands that just say user bin systemctl start HTTPD, comma, user bin systemctl stop, right? I don't know this. Is there a way to use wildcards in sudoers? I thought there was.
I think so, but I think we broke that on the
I
stream, so
I
I will
really
neither
I
confirm nor
tried.
deny.
I tried to find a way to do wildcards, and it didn't. Every example I found did it the way that I solved it here, which is, it looks messy, but I guess once it's in there, it's good to go. But yeah, that was the solution for the first challenge. And the second challenge was that the disk was full, right? And the premise here is that the disk was full. It started alerting, and Manager Scott just silenced the alarm and went back to bed. Because that's what
As a
you
manager
do.
would do.
That's what you do when the disk is full. And then, of course, you have to go figure out why the disk is full. Well, the reason the disk is full is obvious. There's a very large log file in var log big log.
Mhm.
Because,
That's where you put your big
yeah,
log
where
files.
else? I mean, where else would you put a big log, right? But the problem is that after you delete the file, it doesn't free up. And that's the real tricky part. And the solution there is you need to use LSOF. You find that there's a hung Vim process that had opened the file, like maybe that somebody was trying to view the log file in Vim instead of tail or cat or whatever. And then you have to kill the process, and then it frees up, and then ta-da, solution. So I'm pretty sure we have a link somewhere that folks can check that out. No, yeah. So we'll have to try to get that in the live stream there. If anybody wants to try it from home. We shared it.
We've given you the answer.
We shared it this morning. In fact, it might still be in the. It might still be in not there, here. There it is. Is it this? Oh, you did already.
Yeah,
Never mind.
It was out there when
Sorry.
I overwrote his caption with the solution.
Okay.
So we did have a couple of questions come through in chat that we wanted to address. And JScar asks, for the folks who couldn't make it physically to Summit, how can we watch the sessions? That's a great question. A lot of the sessions were not recorded. So a lot of the in-room sessions were not recorded. But I know, I can't speak for all the speakers, but I know for the ones that our team were involved with, we plan on turning them either into future episodes of our shows, whether that's Into the Terminal or RHEL Presents, or into like, it's been far too long since I've made one of my 7-minute tech tip videos. I really enjoy making those, and they seem to be well received. So I know that we plan on reproducing this content. So there will be. So we're going to reproduce a lot of this content. We put in a ton of work to make the live sessions. So we want more than just the folks who attended, and those folks that attended and then zoned out halfway through because they'd been to 16 other sessions that day. Want to be able to revisit some of this content. So keep an eye out for that over the summer. We'll get that out. Also, there was a series of virtual content. So I think there was almost 3 times as many virtual sessions. At least that's how it was last year. There were 16 virtual sessions. 60. Okay, there were 60. There's 60 virtual pre-recorded sessions. So those will become available over the next few days through the Summit portal. So the same login that you would use to go and get like the agenda and see all the speakers, all that kind of stuff. There'll be a whole bunch of virtual sessions available here in the next few days.
So did you have any sessions today, Eric? I had a couple.
Yeah.
Anything fun to talk about?
Why don't you tell us about your session?
Sure. So the one I enjoyed the most was so one of our SSAs, one of our Ansible folks, and I got together and made a the Ansible guy made a nice automation workflow that leverages Image Builder so that you can basically define an image. Ansible automation platform hands that off to Image Builder, makes an image, and then on the other end spits out like a Kickstart server that you can then build machines using that image with, which I thought was pretty cool. And I bet the folks involved with that would love to maybe represent it on RHEL Presents or something if we want to do that in the future. I think it was pretty neat, and it's great. It would be a great base for further automation. So I enjoyed that, and it was well attended. A lot of people seemed interested in it too.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of the new features that we're releasing as part of Image Builder, and with the integration with the expanded Red Hat Insights tool, is just getting better and better. We're not to a place where you can like go out and use a CI/CD pipeline to build brand new images, but we are really darn close. I mean, there's Ansible playbooks available to do that kind of at will. We've introduced things like importing and exporting blueprints, OpenSCAP security profiles built into the image builder images.
That's big.
So, I mean, that in and of itself is huge. So there's just so much that's coming. I'm really excited for RHEL 9.3 and 8.9 because I think we'll see the next iteration of what the tool is capable of now that we've got a couple of these key features into the tool. So I'm really excited about that.
You're a glutton for punishment. You just got 9.2 out the door, and now you're like, oh, 9.3.
That is the life of the release TMN. What can I say? It's really fun around beta time because I've got not one, not two, but like 3 different releases in my brain at once, and it's scary in my brain to begin with. But you add all of that together, and it's just like I have no idea who I am, what I'm doing, or why I'm here. So William Green put in a question about breaking news from yesterday. So yesterday was not a RHEL heavy day. I think we announced the enhanced EUS. So now what was
with more
2
E?
years, you now have more E, and so you get 4 years on specific minor releases. Those are typically even numbered releases. That was really the big one yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that thing. Ansible. There's some OpenShift AI stuff that was announced, and then probably the other big announcement that really impacts RHEL is but Ansible Lightspeed. So what Lightspeed is a at least we haven't gone plaid yet.
The name just makes me chuckle. I don't know why.
I get the branding behind it, but
no, I get it.
Red Hat's always been great at naming things. But so Ansible Lightspeed is actually going to be a product version of the upstream project Wisdom. The Red Hat Ansible engineers partnered with IBM to produce through their Watson AI engine thing, yada, 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 black magic / like now we have basically a chat AI that you can integrate with things like Visual Studio or VS Code. And you basically type the title for an Ansible playbook, and Project Wisdom, aka Ansible Lightspeed, will go in there and generate the actual content for your Ansible playbook.
So what if I name my Ansible playbook like "Make me a sandwich"? Will Ansible make me a sandwich?
Not unless you include sudo.
Because I could use a sandwich right now.
Me too. Although, truth be told,
maybe just some coffee. Maybe it's coffee I need.
It wouldn't be sudo. It would be become : yes.
Okay.
And then Ansible would make
me a sandwich. Okay. I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna. Never mind.
So, moving on. We had a question about Red Hat Certified Architect, and
the answer is a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot. The question was, how much time do you need to get your RHCA, which is basically that third tier of Red Hat Enterprise Linux certification. You've got your RHCSA, you've got your RHCE, and then you've got your RHCA. To give you an idea, think about how much time you spend on your RHCSA or your RHCE and multiply that by about 5, because there's not 1, not 2, but 5 exams that comprise the RHCA. So however much time you spend on each of the preceding certifications, multiply that by about 5. And then guess what? You've got to keep those up to date. So basically, if you do like 1 a year or so, you can keep it current, right?
They changed it so that if you take any exam,
right?
It keeps your RHCE current. But yes, you need to keep all the.
Yeah. So right. and the RHCA is, there's not like a specific track, right? It's once you get RHCE, then you pick certifications that qualify for the RHCA, and then you have to get 3 more or 5 more or something like that. 5 more, and then you're RHCA certified.
The nice thing is that keeps all of the underlying certifications from expiring technically. So you'd still have your RHCSA or your RHCE, all that underlying, but you've got to basically you got to retake each of those exams, each of the 5 RHCA exams. But once you get your RHCA, it's not too bad because you figure 1 a year, and that keeps you in a good rotation of keeping your RHCA.
So fun fact, we had an RHCA attempt to do the troubleshooting challenge today. And
how'd that go?
He couldn't get the pseudo right. He kept getting the syntax wrong. So you guys don't have to feel quite so bad about getting it wrong on into the terminal.
Producer Scott's over here bragging about his certifications.
Yeah,
and
but he
then,
worked in training. He probably just filled out the cert himself.
Wait, this certification is issued to Scott McBrien as issued by Scott McBrien on this day.
Signed by Scott McBrien.
So there's another question about Podman Desktop. So if you haven't noticed, if you haven't seen, and we were lucky enough to have them on RHEL Presents a few weeks ago, but the Podman Desktop team actually announced version 1.0. Honestly, since we've been here for 23 days, I haven't had a chance to look at the release notes or any new features in the announcement. But anytime a project hits that 1.0 mark, it doesn't mean what it used to mean. But what it means nowadays is the engineers behind it feel confident enough in it for production use cases.
That
So
it's complete at a version
right.
1.0 status. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So obviously they're not done with it. It's an awesome tool, beautiful UI, and it's going to keep going. So so congratulations to Podman Desktop team. Did we kind of cover all the questions, Scott? So we're wrapping up Summit. I'm flying home tomorrow after I sleep for like 15 hours tonight.
Yeah, right.
So any closing thoughts, any observations about Summit?
So I mean, on just a personal note, this is the first time I've worked as a Red Hatter at Summit, and I don't know. Summit is an experience, and I will say that it is equally an experience on this side of the table, or this side of the hat. Is that beneath the hat?
Beneath the fedora, I like it. Yeah. So I never managed to attend Red Hat Summit as a customer, but I did get to. This is my second summit on the RHEL as part of the RHEL team, and I got to say this year this summit was probably the best conference, not just the best summit, but the best conference I've ever been a part of. Got so many good conversations, so many exciting things. I think that's why we're all slap happy. It's just been really exciting. And so Jay Scar asked, "What was our favorite presentation you went to?" So before I pass it off to you to answer, I forgot to mention I actually had a session today as well that just wrapped up, which is why we kicked off late. Because I went from answering questions to running down the hall to kick off the stream. But I presented on the shortest path from CentOS Linux to Red Hat Enterprise Linux, where we talked about a new CentOS to RHEL offering. So be checking with your account teams on with that in the next few months if you're interested. But to be honest, I didn't have a chance to go to any other sessions.
Neither did I. I spent most of my time either in the booth or doing things related to booth work or other booth work.
Yep. Yeah, I ended up hanging out in the Fedora booth for a bit. You and I both had shifts in the dev zone
the
booth.
Presentations I delivered, and that was it.
Yep. And
yeah.
The prezos I delivered. So sorry, Jay Scar, probably not the answer you were hoping for. But,
yeah, I kept thinking like, boy, I should look through the session catalog and find some stuff to go to, and then it was like, hey, it's 5 o'clock. Let's go get some dinner
on day 23.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so there was over 5,000 people, Red Hatters, customers, and partners, all in total. I haven't heard an official number, but around 5,000 is what I've heard. So it's been great, and the BCEC here in Boston has been great. And but is next year publicly announced?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Hold on.
So we don't know if we can tell you, but
we can say that there will probably be a summit next year. Where or when, I don't know. We're still finding out.
We're trying to decide if we can say or not. I've heard details.
So I think it's been announced here, but they haven't updated the website yet because it's still today.
That's right. That's usually how they do it. So for those of you watching, don't tell anybody. Don't retweet this. But from what we've been told, next year Red Hat Summit will be in the May timeframe. As usual, but instead of doing our usual Boston to San Francisco back to Boston, next year we're actually going to try something different, and we're going to Denver, Colorado. So I live in Kansas City. I'm pretty excited because that's just a few hours down I-70.
You're just going to walk there, right?
I thought I might like hitchhike, see if I can find some RHEL users.
Hey, you going to Summit?
Right.
Can I get a ride?
Oh, goodness. So thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Nate and I were talking during pre-show that this has been kind of a dry run, a prototype for what we hope this is going to be. in the years to come. We're hoping that by having these videos out there, please like and comment on them. That helps boost the engagement on these videos. We're hoping to take that back to the events team next year and have like a more permanent setup.
Yeah.
Get some better equipment. Have some more, shall we say, planned content ready. Maybe some.
What are you
folks,
saying? Are you
like,
saying this wasn't planned content? This is totally planned. Look at how well it came off.
we totally planned it about 5 minutes before.
We got these totally professional mics that I just happen to have, and we're on
That's
this
true.
nice.
The mics have been great.
We're on this nice folding table.
In the middle of a lobby area. This has been awesome. But at least this time we didn't have to fight the announcer guy.
That's true. That's true. It's actually quieter here than it was at the booth. Although the booth setup was nice.
Yeah, the booth setup was cool, especially when you have the backdrop
we
at
need
the expo
we need a
hall.
sound room on the side of the booth.
There we go.
Because
Producer Scott says he can make that happen.
yeah.
And he's
One
now
side of the
glaring
booth
at me.
has to be a sound room.
I like
That'll
I like
do it.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to our content. Hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications. We've got no Into the Terminal this week because we'll all be asleep or in the air or both. I don't know. Do we have RHEL Presents next week?
You're in the terminal next week.
Definitely Into the Terminal next week. And then the following week, we're doing a live webinar June 1st, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9.2. What's new? What do you need to know? So I'll be hosting that here on June 1st. I'll have to double check. I think next week is RHEL Presents.
There
I
goes
don't remember.
There goes the swaggin'.
Swaggin'.
No, she was pulling it around the expo hall full of swag.
Yeah,
Before.
yeah.
So I called it the swaggin'.
I love that. We should brand that now. All right, folks. We're going to go get some food. Actually, no, we're not.
You have another
Because
stream.
here in about 5 minutes. Jump over to the Fedora podcast channel or to the Fedora YouTube channel because I will be live. Supposed to be meeting with Matthew Miller. I think Carl George will be by. We've got a couple of guests from the Fedora booth once they make it up this way. So we'll be live over there about 5 or 6 minutes. So if you're interested to get the Fedora, the Fedora and the community aspect of things, just head on over to the Fedora YouTube channel, and I'll see you in about 5-6 minutes.
I know
Thanks.
that none of those people are here yet, though.
I noticed.
That's
but
a little bit
that's how
dismaying.
things work.
All right, folks.
It was probably Nate's really poor direction.
Well, see,
Scott got lost.
We started 3 minutes late, so they figured they had 3 more minutes. That's what it is.
That we'll go
Yeah.
with that. All right, folks.
All right.
We will see you next week. At
We'll
our
stop
usual
rambling.
times. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Have a good one, folks.
It's the end stream button.